You landed on this video right now because you either recently hosted an event, you gave a pitch to a whole bunch of people and absolute crickets were chirping when you gave that pitch, or you're about to host an event and you are absolutely terrified that it's not going to convert. And if that's the case, you are in the right place, because today we'll be going over the 7 biggest reasons why events typically do not convert into back-end high-paying clients. Now, full disclaimer, what I'm about to teach has been learned through trial and error, helping clients plan, host, and sell virtual events over the last 5 years. We've been behind events that have sold 15,000 tickets for a single event. We've been behind multiple different 7-figure paydays, as high as $2.5 million in a single 24-hour period. Clients have ranged across a couple different industries, and we've also seen, naturally, a few events absolutely flop. So what I'm about to teach has been learned, once again, through trial and error, seeing what's worked, seeing what hasn't worked, and here's what I've learned. So hopefully you find some value out of this. Reason number 1, you're not charging to attend your virtual or in-person event. See, it's common practice, and I fully understand the thought process here. People think that if they make their event free, they'll get more people there, they could give a whole lot of value for free, and then people will almost feel like this need to reciprocate by buying whatever your back-end product is. However, this goes against human psychology, truly. There are 2 reasons why you should be charging for your event. Number 1 is because people pay attention to what they pay for, meaning when they pay to attend your event, they are much more likely to actually show up. It's very common that when you host either a webinar, free challenge, free event, anything like that, you might have as low as a 10 to a 20% show rate. As compared to, on the other hand, if you charge as minimal as $7, maybe $9 to attend your event, you get that show rate to a very bare minimum, 35%, as high as I've seen 60% on literally $7 tickets. And if you charge, call it $100 or a few $100s, oftentimes that show rate's going to be as high as 70 to 80%. The second reason why you should be charging for your events is for the back-end conversion rate. You see, when you are giving an offer during your event to continue working with you well after the event's over, you can either be giving that offer to freebie-seeking leads or people who ultimately just didn't pay and they're just kind of tire-kicking and they're seeing what you're all about, or you could give the offer to existing customers who have already trusted you with 16 digits of their credit card number. Who do you think is easier to ascend into a higher ticket program? It's obvious. It's the one that's already paid you a certain amount to be there in the first place. They have shown from day one that they're more than happy to pay you for your information, and they will continue to do so as long as you continue to provide the correct amount of value. Second reason why events don't convert is because people either teach too much or technically, conversely, too little. See, if you teach too much during your event, you could actually kind of make people feel like they're drinking from the fire hose. And once again, I understand the thought process here. You're like, well, hey, if I teach a whole lot of content, they're going to say, well, if I got all of this for this much, what can I get for their paid amount, like the high ticket amount? I understand the thought process, but hear me out. When you teach so much that people are overwhelmed, they actually will kind of enter into a state of paralysis where they feel like they can't actually make a clear decision until they actually start implementing everything that you've already taught them. Or number 2, when you teach them too much, they actually feel like they might not need you for the extra information. They're like, man, they gave me so much information here. I just need to go make sure I actually go implement all of this. And then from the fruit of the implementation, what they just taught me, then I can hire them maybe later on. Now, conversely, if you're teaching too little, which once again, I understand the thought process here, you're thinking, hey, if I don't teach that much, then they'll actually feel like they need to hire me. There's a right balance here. There's a perfect shade of gray. However, if you're teaching too little, people will actually feel like I wasted so much time here, I didn't get any value, and why in the world would I want to pay this person for whatever their high ticket offer is if they didn't even give me that much value in the first place? So it is really about finding that right balance of teaching them, really primarily focusing in on the high level things that you are able to help them out with without getting too in the weeds on the how or the implementation part. You should very much be teaching them some things that are going to change their mindset, allow them to change their beliefs that have been holding them back from being able to see breakthrough in the area that you're able to help them with. The third reason why events don't typically convert is because you don't take the pitch seriously enough. You're just brushing it off. What happens when you do this? You're like, well, I'm just going to make it seem like it's no big deal. When you make it seem like it's no big deal, the audience will also treat it as if it's no big deal, as if they don't have to really focus on it and they don't really buy. So you want to make sure that you have a properly allocated amount of time to really do your pitch justice and really sell your offer pretty hard. You don't have to do the cheesy value stacks or whatnot. Those absolutely do work and they do convert for the right audience. You don't want to just make it say, hey, by the way, guys, if you want to hire me, you can. It's this much. Okay, see ya. You're almost making it awkward by not giving your offer proper attention. If you truly have an offer that's really able to impact people's lives, their businesses, their finances, their health, their relationships, etc., really make sure that people understand the real value that you have to offer, especially if you're going to be asking a multiple 4, 5, or even 6-figure amount in exchange for it. The fourth reason why events don't typically convert is because you're giving more than one offer. Imagine this. You join an event, you're here to learn over the next 2 days or over the next 5 days about a specific subject, and you're wanting to get breakthrough in that specific subject. And then the host is now telling you about multiple ways you could work with them. When faced with more than one option, you are likely going to not take action. You are more likely to have to now decide and use brain power on which of these do I want to buy, if any. And with more options, you're just simply going to take less action. You're going to have way less clarity on which is right for you, and it just ultimately slows down buying momentum. So when you're hosting your event, make sure you only tell people about one main offer that you have to sell them that day or that week. Make it very, very clear that, hey, you are here to achieve XYZ result. We're teaching you this, and by the way, here's exactly what it looks like to continue working with us well after the event's over. Fifth reason why events don't typically convert is because when you give the offer, you're not putting in proper urgency or scarcity behind it. Here's what that looks like. Someone's here, they're listening to your pitch, and you hit them with this. Cool, guys, so here's what it looks like to work with us. You could pay us this much, and you could enroll anytime. Well, without a deadline, and without a scarcity or some sort of a reason why they have to take action now, they're much more likely to not take action. Make sure that you give them either a certain amount of people that you're willing to take on for your specific offer, and if you limit it, you better actually abide by that. Fully transparent. That could be an FTC thing. You can get in trouble with that, and I don't advise getting in trouble with the FTC. However, I would say either a hard limit on clients that you're actually willing to accept, or there is a hard deadline for which someone needs to enroll by. And maybe you technically take on clients all the time. So then maybe that deadline would simply be for bonuses or some sort of a discount that you're willing to pair in conjunction with taking action early. Now, the sixth reason why an event won't convert into a back-end offer is because the event and the back-end offer are misaligned. Now, let's take a radical example here. Let's say that you attend an event to learn about Facebook ads and how to scale up your business using Facebook ads over the next 3 days. And then when it comes time for the back-end offer, the offer is something along the lines of, hey, if you'd like us to run your Google ads or your TikTok ads, we could do that here, click below and apply today. Obviously, that's not aligned with what the person came there for. They came, in this case, for Facebook. So just make sure that whatever you're selling, obviously that's a radical example, but make sure that whatever you're selling is in total alignment with what you're selling on the front end as well. So what they're there for breakthrough on the event should also be just kind of magnified for whatever the back-end offer is. I one time had a client in 2020 who coaches wedding photographers, and he had an upsell that he was selling during his event, and his event was actually teaching wedding photographers how to grow their businesses. And his upsell when you were buying a ticket was like a lighting pack or like a template pack for Photoshop or Illustrator or something like that. Sorry, I'm not I'm not a photographer myself, but it was some sort of a template pack for ultimately making their job more efficient. However, it wasn't converting, and he hired us actually to figure out, like, how can we get the uptake rate higher? And I was like, well, it makes sense that it's not converting because people are wanting to grow their business. They're not trying to become a better photographer, and they probably have more than enough presets than they need. What they're here for is they actually want to grow their business, and so all of your upsells should be aligned with business growth or client acquisition or raising prices, not how to set up a new preset in Lightroom or something. And the seventh and final reason why events don't convert is because you're not utilizing enough email in conjunction with the event. Now, there's a whole bunch of different email sequences and even SMS sequences that we will help our clients deploy for all of their events. However, the specific aspect that I'm talking about here is the back-end open and close card emails. These open and close card emails should be in alignment with whatever your offer is that you give on the event. Let's say hypothetically you have a 2-day event, and on the second day of the event, you give an offer to work with you after the event's over. And let's say that you have some sort of a deadline to take action on it. And the deadline, like let's say that you're giving day 1 is on Monday, day 2 is on Tuesday, and let's say that the deadline to apply is by Wednesday night. So they've got a little over 24 hours to take action. So you should make sure that you have emails that are going out immediately after you finish up your live presentation on Tuesday that are in alignment, kind of recapping what your offer was. And it should go all the way until the deadline to actually buy or apply on that Wednesday night or whenever your deadline is. Make sure that all of those emails are going out pretty aggressively, because there's a lot of people that still might not either attend the event, or maybe they weren't fully present when you were giving them the pitch. And you want to make sure that they are getting a really quick recap, quick, concise messaging talking about, hey, thanks so much for attending the event. By the way, as a recap, here's what our offer is. Make sure you enroll by tomorrow at midnight. Make sure you enroll by tonight at midnight. Okay, cool. You've got 2 hours left, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Those emails will absolutely help squeeze more sales and squeeze more profit from your events. If you'd like help planning, hosting, and selling out your first or next virtual event, go ahead, click the link in the description, and you could apply today, see what that would look like. You'd have a direct conversation with myself, at least at the moment, and we'd be more than happy to explain what that would look like and see if this would make sense for your business. Thanks so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to smash that like button or give the channel a subscribe so that way you're notified when we produce new videos just like this every single week talking about how to scale up your high-ticket business.